everybody. Welcome to the Journey More Often Tipsy Tagalongs podcast here at Pennswoods Winery. I am Gary Moore, and our guest host today is Bruce Kelly. And we have a special guest from Pennswoods Winery, Davide Creato. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
All right, I got it right. All right, so he's not going to tell you if I got it wrong anyway, but
No.
I think I got it right. Anyway, so we're really excited. There's actually a lot going on here today. First of all, it's ridiculous because I'm pretty sure it's October 28th, and I am sweating like crazy. Who'd have thought that was going to happen in October, late October, to say that? But there's like a lot of people out in the vineyard enjoying some wine right now. And the parking lot is virtually full. There's a private event going. There's a guy playing guitar out there. I mean, this place has a lot going on right now, in addition to the wine. But we're here to talk about the wine. And let's get started and talk about how this works. I'm liking the lineup already.
Yes, in front of you have a lineup of 5 wines. We recycle like a barrel wood stave.
Yeah.
And we create this kind of like a like a tasting.
Yeah, like a flight.
Flight.
It's a flight. Yeah. Okay.
Flight. And we usually start from kind of white going to reds, like to light to going towards heavier wines.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about where we're starting.
All right, we're starting from the Viognier Reserve.
Okay.
So all the way on the left, we go towards the right, and we just got to do.
Oh.
Okay, we're dumping into the...
Yeah, let me get my Pennswoods wine glass. Look at that. It's a great glass. It's nice and heavy, too.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I'm just going to take a little bit, just because I got to drive home.
So do I, but I'm going to take the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I'll take the rest.
Perks of working
Yeah.
at the vineyard, right?
Okay. All right.
Oh.
All right, we got a guy in a motorcycle passing by here. Harley Davidson. Nice bike, but it's a little bit loud on the ears. All right, there he goes. All right, so what do we have here again? Sorry.
All right, you just say, wow, yeah, this is a wine with a beautiful bouquet. Have nice like white flowers.
Yeah.
Petals, just very intense aromas. We have like an acre of Viognier. It's a beautiful site on a very lower angle or corner of the vineyard. It's about an acre, a little bit over an acre. It's just the varietal characteristics of Viognier, you can recognize it very well.
Yeah, I can tell. And what's really cool about this, okay, so
I can taste pineapple.
yeah, you've had a chance to, and it's warmed up ever so slightly.
Yes.
Which brings out even more flavor.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of people think, oh, you have to have a white wine cold. It's got to be cold, but no, it can be just slightly chilled, and it has more flavor to it.
I think like when we're talking about flavor regarding temperature, if you go on a reserve wine like a Viognier Reserve, a Chardonnay Reserve, they have a little bit more characteristic. It's probably better off go a little bit warmer because sometimes the ones they recommend to be cold, the wine that have less acidity, they don't, they're just a refreshing wine. For this wine right here, they're very artisanal wines. You want to kind of have a little warm, just slightly warm.
This is really good though. Yeah. I like and it's I'm assuming it's a steel cask.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
So, because I'm not tasting any oak influence on this one.
Exactly. The Viognier doesn't do any fermentation in oak. It just through the whole vinification process, it just stainless steel. So it doesn't see any wood throughout.
All right. And how long does it stay in the steel cask?
All right. So as soon as after we bring the grapes into the winery, we crush, we do the fining, and we start the fermentation. It stays inside the stainless steel for 6 months. Does fermentation stainless, does élevage in stainless. Élevage means aging. We keep it on a lees.
Right.
Means that after the fermentation, we don't rack it off, we don't filter right away. While we leave the lees from the fermentation, the yeast inside the tank. So those yeast, they enrich the product. They enrich the flavor, the varietal. They just create a better like mouthfeel, more stable wine. So we don't have to overdo on stabilizing this wine. It's something you want to keep it together for a little while to making sure this wine is in contact with the lees, with the yeast for at least 3, 4, 5 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So while you were describing that, which is a great description, I took another taste and I'm like, this stuff, it's so light, which a Viognier tends to be anyway, but it's so light, and the finish is really, really smooth going down your throat. It just coats your throat nicely, and it leaves you with a nice bouquet at the end, as well as, when you're bringing it to your nose.
Yeah, what I would describe it what you said. This wine has still, we don't do malolactic, so the acidity from the Malikes is still there. The Malikes is an acid that has the freshness, the crisp, and the Malikes is acid. Helps to, of course, it's natural from the grapes. I don't want to be too technical. People get scared. Like, what they put in it?
No, it's okay. It's okay. People love to hear all the stuff.
So it's one of the three main acids inside the wine that naturally are inside the juice. I think the Malikase helps to keep the freshness, the kind of like sharp acidity.
Okay.
Kind of coats your mouth and makes you salivate. Sounds a little weird.
Ooh.
But
Yeah.
Makes
Well,
sense.
that explains a lot, because I'm feeling that very
Yeah.
scenario right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really wow.
it's no soapy. Like I would describe it like that. It's not something like put in your mouth. The flavor is good, but it doesn't kind of like coats your mouth and
When I said it's smooth and it goes down, it just feels like feels good when it goes down, and that's obviously what you want a wine to do.
You gotta enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be able to enjoy the wine, and this is definitely an enjoyable wine. So, what else would you like to? Is there anything else that you want to talk about with the Viognier? Are the grapes grown like right here, or are they?
Well, I just want to, with my introduction, I'm of course I'm the winemaker and vineyard manager.
Oh, yeah.
We.
Of course. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Like, who are you, right? I should have
guy.
started with, here's a great guy, but who is he, right?
No, I just want to. I have my hands on the wines, on the grapes all the time. I'm responsible for anything that's happening inside the vineyard up to the time that I put the label, and after that, it's all about the girls at the tasting room to sell it. The Viognier is a great varietal.
Okay.
It's an amazing varietal, and we grow 95% of our varietal. This year we only bought 5% coming from Pennsylvania, from
Right.
The Apple County in PA.
Okay.
Because
Okay. So it's still kind of local because it's from
it's
Pennsylvania.
An hour and a half. So
Exactly.
we grow most of what we put in the bottle, and this is our power and our energy behind those bottles. So the Viognier, we love to grow Viognier. It's just a great varietal. Pennsylvania produce very well. Cold hardy, ripes very well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very interesting to have it in.
And you have 3 different locations for
Yes.
the
Yep.
vines?
Yep, we grow about 40 acres total, and we have 3 different locations. This one is the main location when the winery started and it kind of took off.
Right.
We have a place in Parksburg and one in Coatesville.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, and it's very similar in region.
Very
there.
similar in region, but
But you grow different grapes there too.
Exactly. We have different grapes. The soil is so different.
Yes.
I like to categorize in colors. So right here we have a lot of iron oxide. So the soil is like a red, rich,
Yes.
very deep soils. I mean, we're in Chester County. This area is
There's a lot of variety in Chester County.
yes.
People don't realize that when it goes to growing grapes,
Yeah. And what the difference between this soil and the other one is just like you can see the color of the soil. It's like, wow, this is much different. Up in Sandy Hill in Parksburg,
Yeah.
we have like sandy and clay.
Yes.
That's all we have. So it's gold. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's like the
incredible.
perfect soil.
Very drained. Like when it rains, it drains out very quick. Good exposure. The vines that don't grow as much as they grow here. We have mostly Pinot Noir up there, so it makes a big difference. Growing Pinot Noir here with the richer soil will be a little bit more challenging, but up there where the vines grow a little bit less, we have a little better chance to ripe a
Yeah.
Pinot Noir.
Well, yeah, Pinot Noir in Chester County is a challenge anyway,
It is.
and especially southern Chester County, it's like almost impossible.
It's probably a challenge everywhere, but
Yeah.
over here.
Well, in Willamette Valley, they seem to do it somehow, but
Oh yeah.
But on the other hand, I feel like so I poured more in here only because now I want to focus. We started with this first wine. I want to drink a little bit more of it because I really do enjoy it. But I want to talk about you a little bit.
Okay.
Where, how did you get here? You know, what's your story as far as you personally? Where did you grow up? How did you get into the wine business? And how did you become a vintner? Because that's not an easy task, believe me.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes on in that. It's like having a college education. It takes a long time to get all the different nuances of how to work with the grapes. So,
Well, I was born in a very little town, 400 people, in the center of Italy, in the region of Abruzzo region,
Yeah.
which is just across from Rome, in the west coast. I mean, in the east coast. We got. I grew up in a farm, so the town was very small. We were like 20 minutes from the beach, and we are like 20 minutes from the mountain, like in the perfect. Like
Oh,
we were in the
man.
mountain.
Sounds like a great spot.
Oh, it just the concentration of flavor that I can describe from where I'm from. It just I can tell every season had the flavor. Like right now, is olive
Yeah.
picking, so it
Wow.
smells like the process of the olives has that kind of
Yep.
like a harsh smell because when you squeeze olive, you have
Yeah.
a vegetational water that stinks, but so bad.
yeah, yeah,
But the olive oil is so beautiful.
right.
It's that pristine green, like bright and acidity. Anyway, I was a kid that I wanted to come over here. I told my English teacher that I wanted to, come in the States, but I was very bad at English to the point that I went through my high school to be an electrotechnical engineer. I didn't like to finish my career there, so I moved on enology,
Okay.
viticulture, which is the science of enos, the wine, and viticulture. So I learned how to grow vines and be transform the grapes into the wines and get a safe, like a stable product into the bottle, like very just an enological school. And at that point, I was working at a big winery. It was like a massive wine. There were 6 million a bottle a year.
Wow.
And I had the chance to meet Gino, which is the owner of Penswood, that he was importing wine from Zaccagnini, the winery where I used to work. And I wanted to learn some English. He needed hands to run the winery. That he was just started to get a climb, and he started planting more vines. He wanted kind of to take it to the next step. He didn't want to be just
All right.
an hobby. And I moved over here in 2011. It was the year of the hurricane. It was totally legal because I came with just like a touristy visa. So it's all right. But I didn't work hard, but But I came as just like with just like a regular working visa in 2012. Kind of finished the school and started
Okay.
with work. And I met my wife here. She was already working here, Andrea. We got 2 beautiful daughters. I became an American citizen.
Wow.
February 2016 was the greatest thing.
That's a
I
crazy
kind of
story.
Getting born again. It was amazing getting 2 passports. It was very emotional.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Now, Larry, let's talk about the village back home, right? The 400 people. Did everybody kind of like do their own wine and olives as well? Or
Yeah, everybody has
they had their own personal, like, right?
the theory behind the family where I'm from is to have everything that you need around the house and to leave something to the future generation that is not just money, because the value of money, you
Right.
never know what's going to happen. But I have a land with vines and olive trees. Just my dad wanted me to have like an acre of olives, an acre of vines. First, because he probably wanted me to be as close as possible, don't go anywhere. But secondly, it's
Yeah.
and it's not an income. I want to say it's just like it's something that you want to care about it because it's going to give back. Nature is so not so rich, it's so grateful when you work with her. So giving energy
Yes.
to nature, it gives back. So everybody has a little bit of everything.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, yeah, and I kind of suspected that. because there's a lot of that in different countries. In particular, well, Italy has like crazy amount of wine growing anyway, but you can go. Each farm typically has their, and I don't know if you made your own cheese there as well, but
Oh, of course.
so
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, we have. I mean, the seasonality was very important.
yeah,
I'll start from the spring. The spring was the time to plant your garlic, to prepare the soil to the garden. So that one was very important. But the spring in Italy started January, February. You'll plant your grain. Then it was just
Yeah.
like prepping for the spring. At that point, the spring would be like actually June. In June, we would put April, June. We put your tomato plants. Everybody had tomato plants.
Tomato plants.
I mean, I don't.
I can't. Now I'm thinking about how delicious those tomatoes probably
I'll
are.
get some good sauce or good gravy tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Just anything you would need. You kind of like peas, beans, garlic, onion.
Everything on the
Pretty much
farm.
pretty much everything.
Wow, that's a lot actually. Well, it's a
But
farm. I know that it's a farm.
But and you over plant. Like we didn't. We're a family of 6, and we didn't need 150 plants of tomato. But we planted always more because they're boars or deer.
Yeah,
Friends. Somebody
Friends.
not even friends. It goes there and picks it.
There's lots of friends
Yeah.
in Italy. There's lots of friends.
So, and also that leftover would have been donated to the pig, because we also raise
okay.
pigs for the winter months. So all the summer you do squash, all the bigger squash you would save it, the beets, all those vegetables.
Plus, you can can it too, right? You can can the tomatoes and
Yeah, well,
have some really great tomato sauce in the winter.
Yeah, we did like I think 150 can, and we call it bottiglie barattoli. And
Yeah.
that one was August. August was like the time of doing that. You don't go anywhere. There's no beach. No, you got to do that before you do anything else.
Right? Yeah.
Like hot pepper, we string hot pepper, we string onion, we string corn. We had like maybe a few acres of corn. We just like made trays and hang under the barn just to save it, for the winter.
Right.
We
Wow.
made a polenta. I mean,
That sounds crazy.
I can't grow a thing, and he's growing everything.
Right? Yeah. You grow up with that.
Yes.
Right? You grow up with that, and then and the reason I asked about the cheese, by the way, is I was in it was a small winery in the Tuscany region, and we were talking to the guy, and he brought out this cheese that was ridiculously good, right? And my wife and I are really big cheese fans. And we were like, can we buy this? And he goes, no, because they have a cheese co-op. You probably did too. And you swap cheese around so you can get your other family's cheese and stuff, which is like ridiculous. I mean, you're looking at all this really good fresh food. That's, yeah.
And so nutritious.
Yeah.
Going back with the seasonality, so August was tomato canning. So soon after August was like a grape picking. So we would have picked
Right.
grapes, made wine, and just after it would be picking olives. That one was the start of my soccer league, and every Sunday I had to go to pick olives. So, but I hate the time that we had to pick olives, and right now that I don't have olives to pick, I'm regretting it so much.
Oh, man.
Picking olives is not an easy thing.
No, I can't even.
They're big trees, little berries, and you have to lay this huge, like a mesh in the ground
Right.
to collect all the olives
To get them.
to get them. It's just pretty intense.
Wow.
But the flavor of the olive oil, as soon as it comes off the press on top of warm bread, it's unbelievable.
I should have eaten.
Now I'm just I'm salivating just because of that.
It's unbelievable.
Speaking of which, we should probably move
Yeah,
on to the
move on to
next
the
one.
next
But
one.
that is an amazing story. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next one will be the Viognier. Oh, again, no. What were we talking about? The
Chardonnay Reserve, it looks like.
Yep.
All right, so that was a great start.
Yeah, we have lost the best of the season. After the olives, we'll be going to the colder months. And in December, January, we'll be like processing the meat from the pork. So all the salting, all of that.
Oh, my.
And it was one of the nicest things to do.
I'm calling up his family. I'll be there in a couple of days.
It's just amazing to you know, butcher something that you see growing,
Yeah.
and you know it's just one animal, right? I mean, these
Right.
days we eat products that have like many animals inside. I can sometimes I can't believe what's out there. And
Ooh.
anyway, going back on the Chardonnay, totally another profile on this one. It's a lot of bigger, a lot of it's big punch, a lot of aroma. You can see the vanilla here. You see the varietal, the aromatic varietal, the Chardonnay. Still have some white flowers, but mostly characterized from orange peel, just very intense bouquet in this one. The taste is a little bit more rounder because
Yes.
of the aging inside the wood cast that brings in some tannin, some sweetness from the oak, and
But not a lot.
no, we're still like a
You've held back a little bit because a Chardonnay can be incredibly, like,
round,
yes,
sweet.
yeah. And this one is it's less. What would you call it? It's not as bold, but it's still it's reserved.
Yes.
In it, well, it is a reserve, but it's reserved in that it doesn't really punch you. It just goes right on.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Well, we're very lucky that on the East Coast we don't have those huge heat waves, but we have a little bit of rain. Look at today; it's beautiful weather.
I know.
The fall in the East Coast is just
Yeah.
tremendously good for graping grape. During the summer, we have maybe a little challenge for the rain, but
Yes.
fall, the temperature there, they get more consistent. We have cold nights and warm days. Those are like the best thing the grapes can get. Just
Perfect for that,
before,
yeah.
just before they get picked. And we have a lot of natural acidity coming from the vineyard without having like 13-14% of alcohol. The wines that we make, they never, I mean, the whites never go above the 13 and a half because naturally we don't have those heat, that concentration
Right.
to ripen. And naturally, the grapes, whenever they reach 10-12%, like let's say 18-19 bricks, the plants, it can get more than that. The rest of the sugar gets there because of the dehydration, gets very hot. So right here, when our grapes they're ripe, their phenolics are also ripe. It's very important things. You don't want to have a lot of sugar and not a phenolic. Phenolic is what, when you taste a berry, you can tell when it's ripe and when it's not ripe. So
Yeah.
the phenolics, what you taste, it tells, oh man, this is good. This is ripe. This is ready to go. And the phenolics in Pennsylvania, they get ripe at the same time when you get right amount of sugar.
Right. Yeah.
It's we're lucky that we have that.
So now, do you harvest based on like you're going out into the vineyard and you're grabbing a grape and tasting it and saying, yes, it's ready?
But I do that. And
I mean, obviously, timing is part of it.
Yeah.
You kind of have a good feel for it already, but
you can see visually the grapes, they go through a variation. They start to getting it from green, they become yellow. They stay yellow throughout August, and in September they just change. They start getting gold. When the gold is adjusted on, you have the nice gold and the back is still green. You got to get your analysis. You have your nice 7.5 grams per liter acidity. You have your 19, 20, 22 bricks. Bam.
so you take it into the lab.
You take it
And
to
you
the
test
lab.
it.
Yes, you got to test
Ooh.
it. So you test for total acidity, which will be the total acid inside the grapes.
Yep.
You test for the sugar, the density, how much sugar is going to be inside the juice in order for the yeast to be transformed and make alcohol out of it.
And then boom, you got to harvest.
You got to just get your people together.
You get it done.
Nice and happy and get it done.
Is it? Yeah, and it's by hand, right?
All by hand.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's a tough thing because a lot of people think, oh yeah, they just send the equipment down the row, and that's not how that works.
Well,
I mean, you can, but it's like a lot of times if you're looking for a certain grape, you're going to want to do it by hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pro and cons like anything else. The machine will allow you to pick just before the rain because
Right.
you can wait the very last minute and run 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 miles an hour along the road and pick many acres in very short amount of time. But in the same time, I don't know, the picking by hand, it just it's very rewarding for me. I know maybe down the years I'm gonna just say maybe no. But we can bring at the winery quality
Yeah.
grapes, and I think we're good for now.
Do you harvest every varietal at the same time?
No, no.
Okay.
So we have.
It's a good question.
Yeah, we have varietal that naturally they ripe early, like Moscato ripes way early than let's say the Chardonnay. Moscato usually is ready end of August, first few days of September. The historic, the story that we've been seeing that Moscato usually is harvested on the first days of September.
Yeah.
Just after that, Sauvignon Blanc, very close to the Moscato. It's just a very one after the other, pretty much. Sometimes they flip flop. You get first the Sauvignon Blanc, after the Moscato, and after that we started with Chardonnay, Viognier, Pinot Noir. We do all the rosés, and we have like a let's say week and a half. By the end of September, we finish all the white. Beginning of
Yeah.
October, we're gonna start the reds. The first week of October, the Merlot usually is ready.
Right.
Or the Cabernet Franc, same thing. And we're gonna do all the reds. So it's two
Yeah, it's a
months.
real, and it is kind of a science, and the whole, and basically, if I think I'm right, I don't know if I am or not, but the reason why it flip flops is the weather is different one year versus the next, and so one may ripen based on the weather faster than the other, and the other delays a little bit longer.
Exactly. They usually have blooming time, and like they maybe a week of difference. Like usually we start with Chardonnay, Chardonnay, Cabernet Franc are the same. Merlot. Sometimes can happen that we have a little rain that kind of like a delays. We have a little cold.
Right.
So that way they kind of flip flop. We don't have those 100 day before harvesting, because I usually count 100 day for the Chardonnay
Right.
from the day of blooming to the picking date. So that one is another number.
That's
that
interesting.
Yeah, that I usually looking for. Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Mostly.
Yeah, because you're looking at it and going, okay. So there are so many indicators, right? And because people have been harvesting wine for like
Forever.
millennium, and for as much as we have records, we've had wine, and so all of that has been not figured out in the sense of, okay, we now know what's going on, because every year is different. And we don't know, what's going to happen from one year to the next, but there are certain indicators that you can follow through the season, and it happens naturally, literally naturally. And if you're got your eyes open, you're following it, and you're looking at what's going on, then that's the way it works.
Yeah, and I live in it. I'm part of the. I mean, I would say part of the energy, but I'm part of the equation, because I don't see change year to year. I see change from 2011 to now. For some reason, I'm very aware of the nature. I do a lot of walk. I run. I try
Right,
run the
right.
trail, back the trail. In the past 5 years, I start to see a lot more wild red berries in the field, to the point
Ah,
that I make jelly out of it,
There you go.
because they
Get
get
out.
ripe enough. So we're having a more Mediterranean weather, like with
The climate.
heat. The climate is changing.
Okay.
When I moved over here, I didn't find any wild blackberry in this area. It could be like a swing of birds migration that brought the seeds, and
Yeah.
but I really think it's more about the nature. We were
Right.
2011, 2012, 13. We have the records. The weather's changing. Weather's changing a little bit. It's
Oh,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
and looking at all those wild fruit that grow wild, it gave me a perspective that things are ripening a little bit faster. We're starting to pick a few days early pretty much everything. So we're getting a little bit warmer.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking to some folks in France, in southern France, and they were looking at whether or not they should start changing up what they were growing, their varietals, because it was starting to get too hot for some of the varietals that they were working with.
Yes, sometimes the varietal they cannot make good wine in the wrong place. Not only because it's too cold, but sometimes because it's too hot.
Yeah.
Their varietal that with too much heat, they just shut down. When you have too much sun,
Right.
and you got to start putting shading on the grapes. Well, we put shading for the birds, but
And for the
come
people.
and for
There's-
the people, they come
There's
and
shading
go.
for the people,
Yeah.
but yeah, it gets a little tougher when you have to do it for the grapes because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, we count about like $1,000 an acre just to lay nets on it.
Yeah.
Just nets is a mesh that protects the
From the
grapes
birds,
from
yeah.
the birds.
Yeah.
They don't do much shading, about 8%, but
Yeah.
the birds love grapes.
Oh, yeah. If you ever want to have birds in your your backyard, then grow some grapes.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're on to the rosé.
Yep.
All right, this is good.
So rosé, we just did a very intense interview with Wine Time. The one time that they came in, they set up a lot of cameras. I had this big light on me. I was like, oh my. But anyway,
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that. It's more casual here.
rosé is one of my favorite wine to make. Going back home, making rosé was very important because when you you don't even want to drink heavy wine all the time. The rosé was
Right.
the wine that we made Cerasuolo, like a the sound makes like cherry, Cerasuolo. It's something light with cherry flavor, with a high
Okay.
acidity, lower alcohol, very high drinkability.
Yeah.
To drink when you're sitting down at lunch. So because you wanted that light wine to just give it that boost of calories because you had to go back and start all over again.
And not so much the alcohol.
There's so much alcohol,
Yeah.
exactly. The reds, a lot of people made the reds, but they're more like they wanted a lighter product.
Right.
If they had heavy red, my grandfather used to put like a half of water or gazzosa, which is sort of Fanta in it. So just split them in half, so they didn't have that kick. You had to work all day out there.
Oh no, you'd never get back to work if you had red.
Oh, and I forgot to say, we'd bring 5 liters of work with him, which was 2.5 liters. We will cut him 50% with water.
Oh,
It was, and it was like an alcoholic. He needed
Yeah,
the
yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
The energy.
Well, it's a lot of work on a farm. People don't realize exactly how much. I mean, we've gotten so used to just not having to physically work hard that if you're on a farm, you're going to physically work hard.
They had he died when I was 9. So this is the things that my grandmother, my mother told me. There weren't combiner around. They had a place that was looking like a plaza, very, and they made themselves. So they waited a rainy day, where the rain was gone, and they compact the soil. They compact it so hard they wouldn't even produce dust. So when the grain would come in, they didn't have combiners. They would bundle the grain by hands. They were like a machinery, but very rudimental. They had to have the horse to pull. It was
Wow.
it was intense. So they brought all the grain in, go inside this plaza, and they would beat the grain with sticks.
By hand.
By hand.
By hand.
And they would wait the wind because they took all the
chaff.
the skin.
Okay.
And they would kind of like let it drop the grain, and the wind would blow the light parts.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And they survived with that for like 6 months. The winter was like 3-4 months and 2 months of spring.
Yeah.
And they had that. That one was gold. That for them was gold. They didn't even waste a single grain there. And after that, when they're done, they put chickens or sheep. It was like a closed economy, a closed circle. Everything had.
Talk about recycling.
Why?
That's the ultimate, and that's what people used to do before. We had like really bizarre packaging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean now you used everything.
Yeah.
Until you couldn't use it anymore.
Exactly. Right now, we buy a lot of plastic with food.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but
It's what it
sometimes
is.
you can't avoid it. But
No,
But-
it's where we're living, and just be conscious how much we
But-
buy and waste.
but you grew up with that.
Yeah.
You grew up with that. Wow.
So this one, it just shows very beautiful unripe fruit, strawberry, raspberry, that delicate, kind of like a intriguing, like a bouquet of like a, I would say flower, but just more like a fruity, light fruit.
Yeah.
The acidity in this one they're higher than white, so
Yeah, it does.
feels a little acid. Lower alcohol. This one is about 12% of alcohol. The Viognier, the Chardonnay, they're about 12.5 to 13 on the Chardonnay. Why the alcohol is lower in this one? Because we pick the grapes when the grapes are not that ready to make red, or they're ready to make rosé.
Right.
So whenever we know that the flavor compound, I didn't mention that we use 3 varietals. We have Cabernet Franc, which is the main component, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon.
Ooh.
We use these 3 different ones.
And that's what's in here.
That's what's in there.
Oh, there you go.
For a specific reason. The Cabernet Franc helps the nose, the ones you, oh, this is very nice. It's going to
Yeah.
be a nice glass of wine before you put it in your mouth. And gives the flavor. The
Yeah.
Merlot has a lot of red in it. Cabernet Franc tend to be orange. The Merlot has the red, and the Cabernet Sauvignon has the acidity. So the 3 of them with different percentage
Yes.
crafted this wine.
But
Makes
it's
it
the biggest percentage is the Cabernet Franc.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the one.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
It's the ones that's riper of the 3, as the ones that has a better flavor profile when it's unripe. And we found this recipe. Another thing that we do cryocarbonic maceration. Sounds like pretty scary, but pretty much just chilling.
It does sound scary.
It's pretty much chilling the must, which is grapes and juice,
Right.
being crushed or destemmed. Inside the tank, there's the capability to recirculate CO2 and do the extraction instead to use sulfides or enzyme.
Okay. All
So
right.
the CO2, as the bubbles
Different
inside,
process.
the bubbles inside does the extractive and extract just what we want inside this wine. Sulfides will extract everything. Enzyme will, same thing, will break down all the cell. With the cryocarbonic maceration, is a little bit more, involves a little bit more time, but on the end you can have a rosé for 2-3 years that is still is going to taste like this. You don't have.
Wait,
that's-
you can keep this in the bottle for.
I love after a year.
Okay.
It just the acidity rounds up a little bit. The tannin, it gets a little bit more round. It's just a better tasting for me. Yeah.
So that's actually unusual because a lot of wines they're like, okay, drink them within a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the red offers. Look at that! It's that time of year when we have the bees. I think that might have been a honeybee though. But you know, the reds offer the ability to keep it longer, and that's pretty cool. So you'd like to wait at least a year.
For my person.
For you.
Yeah, for my person.
For
yeah.
you. Yeah, but
Well, they're good.
they
right
may
now.
want to wait
Yeah.
too. You know, because
They're good
you know.
right now, but if you wait a year, to me, it changes the profile.
Oh.
Because it becomes a little bit more round and.
See, I really like that, but a lot of people aren't patient enough to wait for the year, and a lot of people don't have like a stockpile of wine either. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
So-
we keep a plenty stock in the
Well,
house. So.
yeah. Well, yeah, you guys would, but you know, the individual wine, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife and I, we probably have, at any given moment, we have between 150 and 200 bottles.
Good amount.
We drink way too much wine, but anyway, but we enjoy it with friends and that, but when you're looking at it, you know, if you have a wine that you know is going to like mature,
Yep.
and I think that's what it is. It's still good to drink. It's not like you can't drink it right then and there, but you can. But if you're patient enough to wait that 1 year, it matures that much more, and you get that better. It's not a better. It's a different flavor profile that just is so much has an attraction
More
to it.
subtle, more
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah.
I want to touch base on something that you said. Open a bottle with friends. This is what I love about friends. I mean, about wine. Friends and wine.
Friends and wine, yeah.
Wine is not only, I mean, it's a beverage, but it also is it's a beverage that you share with other people.
Right.
That you give to somebody. You say, hey, tell me what it tastes, and it's just more.
Yeah.
It opens a conversation. This is why I love this job. I wouldn't change with anything.
Right.
And we're blessed that we have the opportunity to make wine with our grapes and see people back out and socialize with each other after where we passed like after COVID. We lost a little bit of the friendly, the communication, that kind of like
the human
touch,
interaction.
human
Yeah.
interaction.
We need that as humans. We need to interact with each other, and wine is one of the best ways to do it.
It's the bridge. It's the bridge. It's the
it's like, hey, come over for a bottle of wine, or two or three or four.
What a great venue to do it at, too.
Oh, this is really, I'm really loving the, the atmosphere and the environment that you have here. It's a nice rolling hill, which is kind of cool too. You can see the vineyard over there. Well, first of all, it is warmer than normal, but because normally you're in a sweatshirt. I was actually prepared to go in a sweatshirt until I saw the weather forecast on Wednesday, and I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. But you've got the trees are turning, the beautiful colors, and it's just a great day today in particular. Just a great day to be outside and to enjoy some wine with friends.
Exactly.
Which is what which is what we're kind of doing, right? We're building a friendship here.
Exactly.
And this is a lot of fun. Now, I met Bruce at a winery, believe it or not.
Really?
So he and I met at a winery, and we became winery friends.
Exactly.
And this is the kind of thing that does build those friendships.
Yeah, I was introduced to wine wine is the first sacrament when you go to church. With, people that maybe know, religious or what, but it's very important.
Sounds like
Oh, something back there. Okay. And to respect the wine, to don't over drink. You have to be conscious what you do. If you drink too much, you gotta get an Uber.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So normally, and I'm doing it now at like 42 minutes in, but we always say drink responsibly. Okay, don't drink and drive. So get an Uber or have a designated driver. Enjoy what you're drinking, but drink responsibly. That we always have that caveat because we're promoting drinking here, but we're promoting the right kind of drinking when you're just sitting and enjoying what you have, and you're not talking about now that I'm drunk I'm going to get in the car and go. But no, we don't advocate that at all.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's very important because
but thanks for that reminder.
I sometimes I have to remind myself, but it's good that we made it clear. Yeah, drinking drinking wine has to be done this way. Talking about and have a story, tell how it's done, what you do, and just have the human interaction. And it makes the wine like this. If it's good, it makes it taste incredible.
Yeah. So, and what's nice about wine, and in particular alcohol, but wine has a different flavor. Like you can drink vodka all day long, but it's not necessarily flavorful, and it's not necessarily creating the environment of friendship. It's more partying. Yeah. So if you have wine, you have that friendship. You're just getting further into that relationship, and it allows you to just kind of like relax and chill and have a casual conversation.
Yeah, that's right. It's very important.
Well, that was
very good.
Yeah, I like that as a rosé. I'm very good. So and then so we're gonna have the Parksburg grapes coming up here.
Yep. So this guy got me a lot of white hair.
I like
I don't see any white hairs.
I like the color.
So Pinot Noir is it's very finicky. Everybody knows that Pinot Noir is finicky. It is 100% in the vineyard and at the winery.
Yeah,
Smells fabulous.
There's the only time that really you feel like, oh, actually we did a great job on it, is after a few years, kind of like working so hard and possibly make the right decision all the time, and you're gonna end up with this.
well, it's trial and error, right? especially in
error.
this area
Yes.
with Pinot Noir, it's trial and error.
Yeah,
'Cause
because you're
yeah.
right on the swing. Because usually here in August, unless you get a hurricane, you have very good season. It starts to get cooler at night, warmer in the morning,
Right.
and you get after the third week of September, the things start changing. You start getting a lot of more rain, and that one is where the Pinot Noir gets ready, and you have to be looking at the weather and looking at the grapes with
Right.
the same time. And sometimes like things are changing very, very fast, and you have the winery already full of wine, so it kind of like a crunch time, and the Pinot Noir comes in, and you gotta the last push. Let's say because Pinot Noir is almost the whites.
Yeah, and it can
Of the
change.
reds.
It can change
Yeah.
like really quick.
Yeah,
So you got to be on top of it.
it is one of the
Wow.
lightest red varietal to grow. It has I think 19 less tannins respect all the other red wines. So much more delicate of any other reds.
I'm just enjoying the bouquet on this one.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, I'm very bad to describe. I'm more technical on.
Which is okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, people, this is what this is for, by the way, to give the technical, to give the abstract, it's,
This one reminds me bouquet of flower dried at this time. So this vintage was a little drier. We had some dry berries hanging. So on the Pinot Noir, you almost can test the weather all the time.
oh,
Cherries.
wow. I was not expecting that.
I
This
gotta
is
say-
really good. You okay?
No, I wanted to check the vintage. I didn't want to say that it's a 2020. 2020 Pinot.
Yeah. Wow, this really, I like.
We wanted
I like
to
this.
pick, but we had time that we wanted to. Well, let's try to wait another week. We had a little rain, and we had 4 days of good weather,
Boom.
and boom! This one is just
Like,
delicious.
boom. This, yeah.
I feel like this would be very good with Thanksgiving dinner, with that coming up. Turkey,
Yeah.
mashed potatoes.
Oh, and by the way, this we're gonna have a little commercial here because in 2 weeks we'll be doing Thanksgiving dinner, and we're gonna pair wines with Thanksgiving dinner. So we're gonna have a baked turkey. We're gonna have a fried turkey, baked turkey with stuffing. We're gonna have a fried turkey. And we're gonna have a smoked turkey, and then we're gonna have either a pumpkin or an apple pie.
Why not do both?
For dessert? Well, that depends on the pie maker, who is my wife Diane, and if she's in the mood to do two, we'll get two. If she's in the mood to do apple, we'll get apple. We'll get pumpkin. We'll get pumpkin. But she makes them from scratch. So when we're talking pumpkin pie, it's like the pumpkin
Build it from
gets
the
cut in
bottom.
half, scooped out the insides. It goes into the oven. She cooks it in the skin in the oven. Then she scoops it out and she measures it out, puts it in. She makes it from scratch, including the crusts and everything. Sorry about that.
That's dedication.
But that's in 2 weeks. We'll be doing that. That'll be a combination of American Wine Journey More Often, and Tipsy Tagalongs. We'll be doing all that together. But yeah, we're going to be. I think you're right to answer your question. I think this one probably would go well with Thanksgiving dinner. A good turkey on that.
I usually, this is just my thing. I drink. I don't know if I should say I drink a lot of Pinot with cheese. I eat a lot of cheese with Pinot, but I end up without cheese and without Pinot anytime that the two of them they get close to me.
Right. What's your favorite cheese with a good Pinot?
I like sheep cheese with smaller grain aged. Means like kind of hard,
Okay.
kind of spicy,
Sharper.
sharper,
Yeah, more flavor, more
flavor.
stronger flavor.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
you cannot spread. Like it has to be
Right.
almost crumbles, like flakes it. A very
Like a
aged.
very sharp cheddar. It flakes.
Yeah, but with
But different
sheep-
flavor, different flavor.
Sheep is like
Yeah.
kinda like,
It's over the top.
Yeah,
It's
over the
got
top.
a lot of flavor.
and I like the fatness of those cheese have, especially if they come overseas. They're kind of like the sheep they eat outside. They're kind of like
Right.
You can taste the almost the pasture. Yeah. And olive oil is always.
Sometimes I'm like, why didn't we bring sheep cheese with us?
Do you guys have cheese here for sale? Do you have?
We do have
Sheep
cheeses.
cheese for
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if we have sheep cheese.
But you have a cheese plate, cheese and crackers.
Yeah,
and
we do
and,
charcuterie.
yeah,
You know,
okay.
cured meat. They're not my cured meat, but you know, they do cheese and all sorts of stuff.
If you just said it was his cured
Yeah.
meat, I would have been like, dude, you're just like amazing. you're amazing, but maybe that would have been really cool if you had your own cured meat.
Well, I have my phone just back home.
Back home, you probably do.
I'm in Wilmington here.
No, Mo, in Italy.
Oh no, I have it over here.
You have,
I just went to
Wow.
pick up 9 hams. We call it prosciutto.
yes.
Oh yeah. yeah.
And 7 pancetta. That I have a friend. He keeps it in the summer. I keep it in from November all the way to whenever the spring comes in.
You pick. Oh, and you pick up your
Well,
own.
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
but
do you? Now
I do all
they're
the process.
pre-smoked, or you
No,
smoke them?
they're all salted.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, he's going to show us a picture of it.
As if I wasn't hungry before.
I know. I mean, I didn't expect to get hungry while I was
So-
doing this. You know.
Well, right now, this one is the.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I know you guys can't see this, but there's an entire pickup bed full of hams and oh my
So
gosh,
we'll let
looks
you.
fabulous.
You can, you know, make the picture bigger if you want, but that is an impressive amount of
Yes, the
ham.
calories.
Yeah.
Calories.
Oh, it's awesome. I bet you taste the flavor must be amazing.
So right now, the stage where they are, we did the salty for 3 weeks. That went for about 10 months on this chamber, cold chamber. So you have like white mold grows on it, which is normal. Right now, we got to clean the white mold and apply we call it stucco, which is rice flour or like grain flour with pig fat, just to like kind of seal it outside and kind of the meat kind of comes back in life. I mean, just.
I didn't expect to salivate the
Yeah.
entire podcast.
Yeah, we felt the
This is great, man. I'm enjoying this. I really am because, you know, those are the kinds of things people don't realize how much they can experience within like 5 miles of their own home. You know, and that's one of the journey more often things is enjoy life, you know, and enjoying life could be literally watching any podcast. It doesn't have to be this one, but we'd love you to keep watching these. But on the other hand, it could be watching a podcast. It doesn't have to cost money to enjoy life. And that's the whole thing, you know, and if you're going to buy a bottle of wine, then you want to know what bottle of wine to get. You know, and a lot of times you go to a place like Penn's Woods here and you do the tasting and you go, ooh, I tasted all 5 of those. I like them all, but that one was my favorite. And this, ooh, I feel like the ham the prosciutto would have been.
Oh, a little like a piece of bread, like a ciabatta, or with olive oil on it.
Or we could add some jam.
Oh my, anything.
Oh my God! Right? Oh, this is This has so. You know, I'm going to confess to the entire public, Pinots are not normally my go-to, but this one it really has grabbed my attention. It's got a lot going on here.
Pinot is one of those varietals. You don't get it right every year. We definitely didn't get it right from the beginning. We were very lucky that we got very good vintage throughout because we started on in 2016.
Right.
We got case from luck like many times. But Pinot gave us satisfaction after a few years. It needs to sit in a bottle. It needs to rest. And right now, I'm kind of like I have like a room with 120 hectoliter of Pinot. They're all divided by the biggest tank is 15 hectoliter. The smallest tank is 2 hectoliter.
Okay, so for the general public, what's the size of that? Is there a gallon size that you can throw to that?
I have no idea what will be in gallons, but I'll tell in cases. Like the
There you go.
biggest,
Biggest tank does how many
the
cases?
biggest tank has 150 cases.
Oh,
The
all right, that's a
littlest
good sized tank.
Has 20 cases. So those are all different batches, different blocks,
Okay.
different clones, different root
So they're going to taste different.
They're all going to be
Like
different.
the one tank is going to taste different than the other tank when it's bottled.
Exactly. And
Interesting.
another thing, the
Oh,
tanks,
man.
they're the size of the tanks are different. I have 15 hectoliter, they're very skinny and tall, and some that are very wide and short.
Which changes the taste as well.
It changes the taste as well.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we kind of we're gonna. They're not gonna be like I think they're 30, 40 tanks altogether. But we're not going to make just one wine. We're going to make maybe 3 wines, a regular, a reserve, and like I say, a wine
Okay.
that we're going to sell just right here. That one gives us the opportunity to craft, to kind of like a tweak
Yes.
wine.
Yes.
Because blending is very important.
It very much so. Yeah, very much so.
We wanted to keep everything separate. We kind of like break everything down, and we're going to put kind of like we make 3 over 30 tanks. So it's going to be interesting.
And this is a 2020.
2020. Yep.
Okay, and it's been bottled since.
So 2020 was bottled, let's say February,
20
March 2021.
Yeah.
Because it does 12 months in oak and sits for a little bit in stainless steel. Gets bottled. The oak it's very
It's a subtle.
yeah.
It's subtle in this.
It's
yeah.
not heavy. You want to have it. You want the wine evolve inside the tank. You don't want it just to, I mean, inside the barrel. You don't want it to be tasting like a wood shop, like a.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. So what size barrels do you use for that?
So we only have a 225 liter.
Okay. The standard
barrel,
size
standard,
barrel, yeah.
55 gallons.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is what we use.
I mean, that's the barrel everybody sees. I think that's the barrel that's underneath us, kind of thing. That's the barrels on my back porch. I have furniture, tables with
Barrel.
on top of barrels, which it makes great furniture, by the way,
Absolutely.
on the porch. So
Hard to fly away or.
no, not going anywhere. Yeah, not going anywhere, and they look fabulous. I have a friend who Dick Welch's Woodworking.
Okay.
Yeah, and he does some really great work with, in particular with barrels. I mean, he gave us a barrel with a shelf in it. We got a half barrel that's a cooler.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like crazy.
Crazy.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
So these are in barrels for
Yes.
12 months, you
12
said,
months,
and then you finish them in the steel.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Which is, okay, that makes sense based on the taste. That makes sense.
Yes, you have the vanilla flavor, those tannins. They kind of like grab your mouth, but they're not too harsh.
It smooths it out a little bit
Yes.
at the end.
Yep. And
Yeah.
of course, the wine age, the color becomes a little bit darker in the barrel, just as the
Yes.
wine gets concentrated.
Yeah. So the normal size barrel has just the right amount of surface coverage
Yes.
to give you that flavor that you're looking for.
Yeah, as you go up, you change all the proportion, so you have like a different results. Yeah, but barrels, you lose a lot of wine out of it. We count about a liter a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it
It just evaporates, or
Yeah,
it goes through,
okay.
believe it or not.
and
But it's porous. It's actually kind of porous, even though it doesn't leak. It's still.
yeah, and every month you got to go back. A month, 3 weeks, you got to go back and top it off with the same wine is in the barrel. So you have to always keep a little bit of wine. Make sure that wine is like safe and if you
Right.
have any spoilage, and always top it back inside the barrel.
See that? You got to top it off.
Yeah, you got to top it off. You can leave it halfway. As soon as you leave it halfway, you start getting like bacteria growing under the
Yeah, too much air.
too much
bacteria.
air. Yeah, lazy winemaking that doesn't work. It doesn't work out unless you find very good excuses. But
I feel like it doesn't taste really well if there's bacteria involved.
no, I mean a little bit of bread,
Healthy.
a little bit of bread, and a very good wine, it's okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of bread.
Well, there is bacteria in wine naturally, but it needs to be controlled.
Controlled, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's kind of if you don't have the right amount of wine in the barrel, it's no longer controlled.
Yes.
Just kind of runs free. Nobody likes running free bacteria.
No, we'll control it. We'll
Yeah.
control. I mean, it doesn't take much. Those bacteria, they're not even controlled by sulfites, not even dead.
Right, right. They're pretty strong.
Topping off,
Yeah.
be on top.
Isn't that amazing?
Temperature.
It's
and,
just maintenance and
Maintenance.
observation. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
I instead of doing it like every month, I'll do it every 3 weeks because I know sometime it's gonna pass that month. Bees doing something else, so we'll do every 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and it's all good.
And you're checking it in between
Yeah, yeah.
because they have the plugs.
Yep.
So,
It's like a science and an art form at the same time.
well, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
As
There's,
soon as, oh my God, I mean, it goes. You have to be a scientist. I mean, you gotta take things like
Right.
in a science way, but at the same time, some things happen and you cannot give it an answer, and you gotta say, well,
Yep.
it's an artisanal product or something. I got luck here. Some stuff, it just
because it's nature.
it's nature.
Because nature takes over, and you can't control nature with science all the time.
And be confident. Don't take yourself too serious because sometimes things happen. Be confident, like on your process.
Right.
Study your process very well. Improve your process. Don't change something that is working. But even if it's working, ask you a question. Always try to improve. I always try to be more efficient. I don't have that word now, but save energy.
Yeah.
Just
Well, yeah. You tweak the process every year,
yes.
and you do it in such a way that everything is on a the path itself is smooth, not just the wine.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we should probably jump into that one.
Yep. So
Says
next
it-
one is Cabernet Franc. I forgot to mention we farm the oldest vines probably planted in Pennsylvania. So the Cabernet Franc, and this vineyard was planted in the late 80s from a guy who was Rich Stuckey.
Okay.
Anyway, he started this vineyard because he wanted to sell table grapes, but it didn't really work. I mean, California was big on table grapes.
Yes.
I think he was trying to. I mean, it was too much for him, so he switched on growing wine grapes.
Okay.
And Cabernet Franc was one of the varietals with Chardonnay and Merlot that it was planted over here because the vineyard was only 5 acres when we got it.
Right.
And we had the Cabernet Franc was like 30 plus years old. These vines that are so beautiful. They have some of them are so curvy that you don't know what to look. It's so beautiful. The trunk, the spurs. And when you see them, it gives you the feeling. It's like these vines belong here. They're kind of like always been over here. If
That's
you take
cool.
a walk down there now, you feel like in the nature. Just so beautiful. I don't know how to
That's cool.
describe it. The atmosphere that you have there, the energy that you get from those.
So it's nice just to walk through.
I mean, I have enough just having this glass under my nose will tell how inside the soil those vines are for how long they've been in there. They have this wine has so many layers that tells what they're very doing well. Just
So that's about 40 plus years that they've been producing, which is really good. That's a nice mature vine there.
yes, they're very old vines.
Okay.
And it's
I mean, the oldest vines are the ones that Ben Franklin, did. I don't think they're actually producing wine grapes right now, but
Maybe.
but they were like in Philadelphia. And then there's a couple of other places around here, but not many. I mean, 40 years is a long time
Very long.
in this area because most of the vast majority of the wineries in this area are less than 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. When I moved from Italy, the Cabernet Franc was the block.
Wow.
That's very nice. Blue fruit all day, just like very very intense.
Wow.
The Cabernet Franc was one of the block that really needed a little bit of attention, but was like kind of already in the cycle to producing. It had like very good chemistry. The grapes that were tasting good from the beginning.
The finish is
Oh, it's so
it goes forever.
yeah.
so smooth.
Like I'm still
enjoying it.
smelling the finish, and I finished drinking like 10 seconds ago, so it's still going.
And I mean, it's very young wine. This one's gonna be very good, like in 4, 5, 10 years from now. And we use
So they can keep it in the bottle for another 4 to 5. And we talked to a previous vintner who gave us the secret. You buy 2 bottles of wine. You buy 2 bottles of wine, and you taste the one after the technical expiration.
Yep.
And if it's really good, keep the second bottle even longer, and it'll be even better.
So this is why we tell to buy a case. No problem.
Oh, this stuff would be, if it's that, yeah, if it's good in 4 or 5 years,
So we have.
I have patience.
We have. We chose a very good closure. I can name them. I mean, it's Noma Cork. It's zero carbon footprint extract from sugar polymer from sugar cane. So these corks, they're the top of their line, the best quality they have. They have recognized. They know how much oxygen inlet they have spread out throughout the aging of the wine. So we don't have corky bottle.
Right?
We already know what it's going to taste in 10 years. We have wines corked with Noma cork and corked with the natural cork. The two different things.
Yeah, it's.
and
I mean,
for-
and it really is a crapshoot sometimes with a natural cork. If you've got like the regular cork, and it's even if you're sitting it on its side like you're supposed to,
It's sometimes
things happen.
Yeah. So we didn't want anybody to come back to us and say, "Oh, it was corky." And
Right.
we wanted the wine to taste great, which they do.
So just in case you don't know what that means, is sometimes the cork inside goes bad, or sometimes it lets air in. There are different features that a cork can do to actually spoil the wine that's inside. And even if you have it on its side, and in particular, if you keep it upright, you've got you need to submerge the cork in order to make it better. But if you have a regular natural cork, it could go bad because of the type of the cork itself inside.
Yeah, the
But it's called corked.
Corktained is
Yeah.
I think 3-chloranisole is the chemical compound. You need very little amount. The threshold, it's so small that you'll get them like right away, and so detrimental to the wine. It doesn't mean that it comes with the cork, and it needs so small amount to ruin a bottle of wine.
Exactly.
It's just a shame.
And it happens. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen.
Happens.
But if you have the corks that you see here in front of us, then that doesn't happen.
No,
so
doesn't happen.
you've
Yeah.
basically eliminated that from the process.
Yes. So the elasticity of the cork, of the material inside, the mechanic force towards the side of the bottle is probably even better than natural cork. So it's going to stay towards the outside of the neck.
Right.
For as much as natural cork, the material they put around just the cork, it's uniform. So you cannot have like lines that the oxygen can actually
Or
reach the
holes.
wine, or holes.
Like
yeah.
there's holes in cork. I've taken corks
Absolutely.
out and seen holes in the side.
But like, we love this cork. Another winemaker likes another cork. Everything is fine. Everything is good. And
Right? Yeah,
it's,
that's true.
yeah.
But but you've eliminated that
yes,
that corked bottle of wine by using these.
Yes.
But and I wanted to stress that because sometimes people think, oh well, if it's not a cork bottle, the wine isn't as good. Well, that's absolutely not true. You can have really, really, really good wine with something that's not made from cork.
Yeah.
A cork that's not made from cork.
Exactly.
So I wanted to put that out there because some people think, they get disappointed. It's not a natural cork. Well, that's
okay.
no, that's not. Even I've seen screw top bottles that had great wine in it, and you're like, wait, what?
And on the end of it, you're not going to eat the cork, so it doesn't matter what's on it.
Right,
As long as it keeps your wine good.
The key is to keep the wine,
Sealed.
sealed in the bottle. Sealed in the bottle.
Yeah.
Which is and it could be a plastic cork, it could be a recycled cork, it could be cork.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
keeping
matter.
keeping the wine sealed.
So everyone is going to make their own decision. We went 100% with this line because of their sustainability and the consistency of the product, that we can keep it on the
Yes.
shelf for 10 plus years, 20 years. We have stuff with 20 years old. Tastes just amazing.
Right.
Do you hold on to the stuff for 20 years here?
Yes. Yeah. We have a library.
Nice.
2002.
Library. I love how it's called a library.
Library, yeah.
Do you have to be a wine club member to take advantage of that?
A very good friend of the family. Yeah, either or. Yeah,
If you know the vintner, maybe get.
yeah, it's one way.
There you go.
But yeah, the
We had a vault tasting. We opened bottles since from 2002 to 2013. We had some amazing surprises.
So we opened. My wife and I went to Argentina in 2012.
Okay.
Right, and the winery said, "Now you're spending $90 for a bottle of wine in Argentina,
Wow.
which is a lot of money, right?" So I'm like, and they're like, "Don't open it until 2023."
Okay.
Right, and I'm like, that's not just an investment, that's a risk, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at risk management. We're only buying one bottle.
I'll call it gamble.
Yeah, it could be, right? So we opened it up this past summer, and it was really good. It was worth all $90 of that.
Nice.
But I'm like, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't do that on a regular basis, but every once in a while we'll throw out,
fun.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we have another one that has 2025 on it
Okay.
that we've had since that year too.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're anxious, since this one turned out well, we're anxious to see how the next one will turn out. So it's not, you shouldn't be afraid to hold on to a bottle. I mean, a lot of people talk about, like, you can go into certain restaurants and they'll have that 120-year-old bottle of wine. It's probably not going to taste all that good. It may not.
Yeah.
You're buying the prestige of the bottle.
And you got to pay for the storage of the bottle.
Yeah, you're going to pay. You may pay
gotta
over $100,000 for that bottle that's been there for 120 years, and it might not taste very good at all. But you're buying the prestige of the bottle, and this is a 120-year-old wine, and we're going to pop it for a special occasion.
Yeah, I mean, it's the recognition, it's the story, the
It's everything. Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta pay for it because somebody kept in there for all.
Somebody
the time.
kept a bottle over 100 years. That's saying something, right? Yeah, that's
Some
Something,
dedication.
Yeah. Well, that is dedication. It's obviously whoever kept that bottle
It's a legacy.
has
It's
gone.
a bottle.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So it's been generational. There's been several generations involved if it's been kept for over 100 years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's impressive because it does.
Very unique of a wine.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. So it's not just a restaurant. I mean, first of all, a restaurant that lasts 100 years is amazing anyway. But to have a bottle of wine that you can document to be over 100 years old. I mean, like you said, it's the story.
The story.
You're buying not just the bottle, but you're buying the story. You're buying the whole experience, if you will. And not many of us are going to do that. I probably never will do that in my lifetime.
Which is
But,
me neither.
But it's cool to talk about,
Yeah.
because it can happen, and it can actually still taste good.
fine,
It's not like honey, where you can taste 2,000-year-old honey and it's still good. It never spoils.
Yeah.
So a bottle of wine can spoil, but if it's still good, it's going to be phenomenal.
And you got to appreciate, you got to understand it's 100 years old. You can't think, oh, there's no fruit in it. Well, of course, it's like 100 years old.
Yeah.
You may get more leather or like tobacco or things like that.
This is a good Cab Franc. This is one of the stronger Cab Francs that I've actually tasted.
Yeah, those vines are deep rooted.
Yeah.
I mean, I never said that we didn't touch base on the production. We changed the trellis dramatically since we started renovating the vineyard. So for every pound, let's say for every 2 pounds of grapes, you have like a 3-foot square of leaf canopy. Means that it's a lot of canopy supporting the amount of grapes, the efficiency, the efficiency of the plant.
What's the yield on a?
3.5 to 3.5, 4. I mean, a little more than most of the red varietals, but we can call 3.5 to 4 tons an acre.
Okay, which isn't too bad. You're right.
No, I mean it's
not bad
pretty
at
good.
all.
A Pinot Noir would run about
for this taste, it's pretty good.
2.75, 3 at the most. It's pretty hard. Chardonnay, we're talking about 4.5, 5.
Yeah.
Like varietal like Moscato, there's no point to have little grapes. You want it to produce as much as possible because you want it to save all the acidity. So that one is 5 tons an acre, 5.5 tons an acre.
And the earlier you get it, the better yield you're going to get anyway, because you got less opportunity to have.
But you gotta wait till the sugar they rise.
It has to be right. Yeah.
Exactly, because you want it to have. You don't want to have sugar because Moscato you have to save the sugar
Yeah.
from the grapes in order to have the Moscato flavor. Moscato is another, big process wine.
Yes.
Big process in the sense that it takes a lot of attention for a very short amount of time. After harvest,
Exactly.
you have to be on it for 5 days, and after that, it gets very easy to.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got to be there.
Gotta be there.
You got to be there. It's like having kids. You just can't leave them alone. You know what I mean? You just can't say, "Oh, go run over there."
Yeah. This year,
You got to pay attention.
so the wine, I started looking at the Babo. They were going like 9.5, 9. They started to dropping down. The Babo is the bricks. I use
Yeah.
the Babo. Soon as it reached 7.5, it was 8:30 at night. You don't go home. You start filtering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from 7:30, I filter until the morning.
There you go.
At 9 o'clock, and that was all night process.
Wow.
So there you go.
Good.
When it's time, it's time.
When you got
And that's a
when you
lot
gotta
of
do it.
farming, by the way. A lot of farming is when it's time, it's time. And,
It's time, it's
and,
time.
and people, those of us who aren't actual farmers, haven't experienced that. You test it, and it's like, oh, I'm going to be working all night tonight.
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
know that. I didn't appreciate that. I mean, I do now.
Yeah.
So you got to think about. We start with 180 grams, 190. Let's say even sometimes 200 grams of sugar for a liter of grapes juice in the Moscato. You start the fermentation. The first 2 days you don't have a lot of depletion in sugar. Coming the third day, it drops. Let's say like 30 grams, 40 grams, a liter per day. So when you reach you have like 70 grams residual sugar from the grapes,
Yeah.
you got to filter. That one is our method that we use. When you go through filtration, you just take it off all the yeast in one shot. You don't add sulfites, you don't add weird chemical.
It's
just
ready.
Boom. Because
ready.
if you do it cold, the yeast, they get all stressed out. They start producing weird stuff. So when you do the filtration,
Boom.
I cut them right there. So you got all those flavor fermentation, the CO2, very tiny little bubbles, the sugar from the grapes that preserve all the flavor. And you put them in the bottles in 3 weeks. Just so
Really?
quick.
That quick?
Yeah, because
Boom, done.
As soon as it goes after the filter,
Yep.
inside the tank it is -3 Celsius. So all the CO2 gets in solution, all the flavor they get locked out, like they're like they get chilled. All the salts, like tartaric acid, drops down. Rocket, bottle.
This is a lot of information.
Yeah. Do you do this entire process on site?
Yeah, on site, and only on the Moscato,
Yeah.
Moscato Rose, and Wildflower White. Those are the three varietals that we use this process.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We're going to call it a day, I think. But it's been a lot of fun, and I want to thank you very much for hosting us. We appreciate being here, and this was a lot of learning.
Yeah.
There was a lot of individual, like little snippets that we were able to pick off, and thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. This has been the Journey More Often podcast at Pennswoods Winery for Tipsy Tagalongs. Thanks to Davide and Bruce for co-hosting with this. And we had some great wine. And if you're tuning in like right now, you need to rewind that back and find out all about how things are done in a winery. And there was a lot of really cool technical aspects that we learned today. So, we're going to have another podcast in 2 weeks, and we're going to be pairing wine with Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, we're going to have a baked turkey with stuffing, a fried turkey, and a smoked turkey. So, join us in 2 weeks at 2:30. That'll be live. And until then, enjoy life. Journey more often. Thank you. Yeah, and then we got to turn it off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my! Ooh, thank you.
Feels different now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot different.